Hey up, welcome to the Cannon Hall Farm podcast. With us, the Nicholson brothers, farmers Rob and Dave.
We're two Yorkshire farmers who, along with our dad Roger, brother Rich and the rest of our family, have turned a farm with 2 sheds and a barn into an award-winning tourist attraction.
You've seen us on telly, live on Facebook, and now we've got our very own podcast.
We're joined on the sofa today by our General Manager Carol Rayner. She's worked on the farm for 22 and a half wonderful years. She's about to retire, and we thought it was fitting to find out her highs, lows and all the bits in between.
Coming up. I mean, thinking back to some of the job roles you've done, seem to remember you did dress up as a sheepdog once.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
David is determined to pick out something this year.
Isn't he just?
Yeah.
And yes, David, I did. And what did I do it for? The benefit of the business.
You went out there
And
waving at the
and
kids.
what happened? You're a big dog.
So what have you been up to this week, Dave?
Well, I've just been going around the sheep, checking them all. Some of the flocks are away from the farm at the moment, so we have to keep a close eye on them.
I've been focusing very much on lambing time, making sure that the condition of the sheep is optimal, that the lamb size is progressing as we would like, and that all the little bits of detail are in place for a successful lambing time.
Yeah, well, you have to get those vaccines at the right time. You have to make sure everything is going well, and really just general healthcare with the sheep.
We're joined on the sofa now by Carol Rayner, our General Manager for 22 years and 7 months. Dave, what would we have done without her?
Oh, we'd have struggled, Rob. You know, she brought an air of professionalism. She took us from there to there, you know, and she's going to be really missed.
Luckily, we caught up with Carol just before she retired, and we had a really lovely chat. Delighted to be joined on the sofa today by Carol Rayner, our General Manager at Cannon Hall Farm for the last 22 and a half years. She's retiring in 2 days' time, but this segment is filmed before Christmas. So, Carol, welcome to the sofa. Thank you for 22 and a half wonderful years. And what on earth are we going to do without you?
Oh, well, thank you. And I actually don't know.
Now, Carol, you've got 2 days left. Is there any, little jokes or anything you're going to, put in there before you leave?
Well, no, I'm still actually just double checking that I've passed everything over to Shane.
All right, okay.
And Tom, and just going through the computer and checking everything. I've got some very good memories, Dave, of this place, and a lot to look back on.
Yeah. I think, Carol, if we can backtrack 22 and a half years, Carol first joined us to work a couple of days in the White Bull, the old cafe as it was then, on farm tea rooms, and a couple of days in the farm shop. And we sort of made a job up because we knew she got a bit of oil in her lamp. We knew she got a bit about her. She was a friend from school. You know, Billy, her son, was best friends with Tom at Cawthorne School. So, we knew a lot of her. We knew she got a lot to offer. And really, everything just went from there, Carol, didn't it?
It did, Rob. And when I left BT, I just thought, I'll find a little job. I knew
How long had you been at BT, Carol?
25 years.
So 25 years at BT, 22 and a half years. Carol has earned her retirement many times over. She's paid so many stamps into the system and so much tax, I'm sure. So if anyone's earned the retirement through hard work and a longevity of career, then it's Carol.
Just a quick one, Carol. What actually did you do at BT?
Well, I had a variety of different jobs while I worked at BT. So I started off as a clerical assistant when I left school, got promoted to being a clerical officer, commercial officer. Latterly, before I left, I was the manager of the complaints department, which was a lovely job, yeah. I worked in a lot of different departments. Obviously, a big corporate company, totally different to working here. And when I came here, obviously, I had got quite a few skills that I'd developed working in telecommunications for 25 years, I was looking forward to a new challenge, but not looking necessarily to be a manager.
Well, yeah.
But obviously things changed.
I think though, Carol, I would put you down as a natural leader. You know, if there's a problem, you know, and everyone's taking one step back, you're taking one step forward.
Do you mean bossy?
No, just a natural leader. I think some people relish being in charge. Other people, if they end up in charge, they think, oh wait, whatever. What did I say yes to that for? Whereas I don't put you in that category at all. So that's important. But obviously at that time we were a much smaller business, and we were growing, you know, fairly rapidly. But we needed someone to sort of help professionalise us and take us from, you know, Blythe Spartans to Manchester United.
So just a quick one. You know, when you came to work for us, was the farm shop exactly where it is now?
No.
Yeah.
Well, it was one shop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And before we split into the deli. But like Rob said, I did a couple of days in the White Bull that was known as the cafe, wasn't it? And then I did 3 days in the farm shop, knowing that Sheila was wanting to retire, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And that's where I sort of took over and became the shop manager eventually, after working in both areas, which was very useful to me, because I'm sort of a person that wants to work on the shop floor, learn the job from every angle so that you totally understand it and understand the people. So went into the farm shop, and I've enjoyed all the jobs I've had, and I've really enjoyed training the students that we had working in the farm shop. Really got a lot of they weren't, you know, they were easy for me in a sense. I used to love working with them. And
well, you ran that shop, Carol, with you pretty much as the only adult, and then a team of young people.
Yeah, at the
Whereas now
weekends.
we've got an awful lot of grown-up people, haven't we? And
Absolutely.
probably less students.
yeah, obviously you've got more floor space now that you're covering, and the whole range of the shop has changed completely. But we were a busy place.
Yeah.
When you think about the queues in that shop for ice cream and
Yeah.
everything else, and can you move down, please?
Can you imagine? I don't know if we could ever work it out, but can you imagine the number of young people that you will have trained in the 22 and a half years? It'd be a lot, won't it?
It will be an awful lot. And there were some nice comments actually on the photographs from last Saturday's party from some of the students as well, which was nice.
I think one thing it's important to say, Carol's retiring, but she's actually now starting a third career as super gran or super nan, because she's got 3 grandchildren, all under 5.
5, yeah.
3 grandchildren, all under 5. That she will be. I know you're not taking them all on, are you? But you'll be.
No.
Is Margot going to be your first one?
Margot is still not at nursery full time. Louis at school, and Sophia is still at home at the moment.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to look forward to going and being able to help them and spend some time with them, and see how, you know, I as a working mum. Martin, my husband, was Billy's mummy, really.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that time at home with Billy. So actually, it's nice for me now to see that.
It just seemed nice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're now going to get that chance in the next generation to do that. So
Yeah. So let's hope all goes well.
Well,
I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it will.
Now, Carol, you've got a laugh, haven't you?
Oh, I've got a laugh. Yes,
Now-
I'm renowned for my laugh. I'm very noisy.
My house is a little bit away from the farm shop, but I always knew when you were working, because you know, if I was in the house, I could hear that laugh. It's a good laugh, you know, and it's going to be missed around here.
Oh, but I shall keep visiting.
Yeah, well, you're
Well, I
more
think
than welcome.
that's the other thing to say. Carol might be stepping back from the role that she has now, but she's going to retain a lifetime's access to Cannon Hall Farm and all the benefits that a staff member would have from working here. So
thank you.
We very much wanted to remain a part of the place, and obviously beyond that, we'll always be pals anyway, because we were friends before you started working for us, and that's a given that you'll be friends afterwards.
It is. The laugh comes from having singing training, as you both know. And in my teenage days, I actually had singing lessons and had my voice trained. So obviously projecting my voice was actually part of the training. So that's why I've got a loud laugh, because I did have a powerful voice. I don't sing anymore, and if you don't actually practice, you do lose the natural part of your voice. So I know I did a little number on Friday night on the Christmas event.
Well, going back to the shop, Carol, you took over from Sheila.
Yeah.
You took over as manager of the shop. And then how many years before you took over overall general manager-ness of the site? I mean, we didn't really have as firm a structure then as we've got now, did we?
Not at all.
We've just learnt as we've gone along, and we've just done things that felt right. And we've copied people. You know, I've certainly copied people in my working life. I've come across someone like Derek and thought, that works, and talked to him and formulated little ways. And it wasn't long before you were running the whole show.
Yeah, I think I just sort of fell in with you, really, in the fact that, yes, I knew I could organise people and I could get things done within the shop and what have you. And I don't think the formalisation of becoming the GM was for a couple of years after that.
No.
But I was still intent on sort of running that shop and stayed working in there at the weekends for a long time. And doing the clerical bit in the week.
Yeah, that's right. You worked Saturday, Sunday in the shop and then dropped back to more office based on the 3 days in the week.
Which suited my home life, having 2 days off in the week. So, and it suited you because Saturday and Sunday are our busiest days and still are. So, and of course, the more staff we've had, there's been a lot more development and lots of, it's just the staff coming and going really are your students, aren't they? Because they're going to move on and go to university. But we actually managed to keep some of the students that went to university and still do and come back in the holiday times, which is beneficial to us again.
Well, we wouldn't be able to run the business, Carol, would we, without them?
No.
You know, the only way we can ramp up in school holiday times is by the young people that we employ in a weekend and getting them back. And without putting that training into them, the place couldn't function as it does.
Absolutely not. It's been a busy site, and everything that you've done with the development of the place since I've been here has been incredible. You know, when you think back to, the size of the farm when I first came, it wasn't terribly big, was it?
Not at all. No, it was.
The cafe wasn't like it was. Yeah. The farm shop wasn't as big as it was. We didn't have a gift shop, toy shop, did we? Originally, it was all in one.
The challenge, though, Carol, is to make it bigger, hopefully make it better, but still retain that friendliness and the family aspect to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's incredibly important and important to our customers as well, because some of our customers we know come here to, pass the time of day and have that conversation with the staff, which we've always encouraged, because that's been an outlet for them to have a chat to somebody during the day, as well as seeing all the children, the school kids coming, etc., and developing all that side of the business.
Is there anything you look back on that's worked really well, and anything that's been a little bit of a disaster? Can you think of perhaps some of the evening functions we've had, or anything like that? Is anything that springs to mind?
I think we've learnt along the way, haven't we, with regards to events that we've done. I remember the dinosaur event and running up the drive to get people on a queue off the road. Do you remember that? Yeah. That was a very busy day, wasn't it?
Dirty Dancing.
Yeah. I don't think you'd want to go back there. Would you?
No. There was people. No. It was people really enjoyed it. They had the time of their life, literally. But I think they enjoyed it a little bit too much.
And we didn't really organise that, did we? It was a company that was in. So the ones that we did after that ourselves were
A lot better.
A
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah.
Hard work. The food festivals were great.
Yeah.
That brought a different type of clientele. It was something that our existing
They
customers
were very
loved.
wholesome as well, weren't they? They were events that you could look back on, and the cookery demonstrations,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were good. They were hard
Krista
work.
Ackroyd doing,
Yeah.
the intros, and we involved our chefs, didn't we? Showcasing them. Yeah, there were good times.
One thing I saw yesterday, Bev, one of your cleaning team, bought you a nice present, didn't she? I bet your house is festooned with gifts, isn't it? I bet what
I've
you're going
had
to do with them all.
so many lovely presents and cards, and of course it was my birthday as well last week. So I've had an awful lot, and I can't tell you how touched I am with all the presents and cards, and you know what, the good wishes and the kind words, because they do mean so much. And being a general manager of a place, sometimes, that there might have been difficult conversations with people.
There's been tough conversations over the years, haven't we? You and I, we've sat there and said some things that are hard to say, but always with the person's
best interest.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, even if you're having to tell someone off or tell someone something that they wouldn't necessarily want to hear, you do care deeply for them.
Yeah.
I know that from the private
Yeah.
conversations we've had afterwards and beforehand. So
Absolutely. And always wanted to give them chance to, get back from it.
Yeah. Become better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes people make little mistakes, don't they? And, in life. And sometimes have to be corrected.
Your former protege, my son Tom, has just arrived now, and it's quite fitting because Tom will be taking on some of your responsibilities when you step backwards.
Yeah, and I only wish I was a bit younger so I could have stayed and worked alongside him.
You just cuffed him occasionally and made sure he did things properly. So tell us, really, that was a special time. It was around the time that you first started. Tom was, you about 10 or 11 when you first started working, weren't you? And Billy took on a role with David, didn't he, at the same time? What are you laughing like that for?
Billy, looking after rabbits. Well, I'm glad to see he's done a lot better since. Billy was all right.
He was very good.
Yeah, he kind of, there was Jamie Ratcliffe who used to work.
He's made it in end though, hasn't he, Carol?
Oh,
Well, yeah,
Billy
yeah.
has, yeah.
It did him good working
He's got a
here.
really good job.
Yeah, he
a
has.
really lovely family. There's
He had every intention then of working hard, so he didn't have to work here.
There you go. Yeah. And we do remind Billy when we see him that he was the rabbit man for a while.
Oh dear.
Well, can you remember he also had a little spell working for Stuart and Nick, the builders, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that focused his mind as much as anything did.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That definitely made him think, I need to get back to university.
He wasn't smiling, were he?
He thought, I'll be mixing concrete for the rest of my life here, didn't he, if I don't do something about it.
But no, you kindly accommodated him there, didn't you, when he came back from Newcastle? So.
Yeah, well, you kindly taught Tom the ways of retail in the farm shop, and I think he's retained an interest ever since. And it seems really nice that he's come back now from a short career in London, to come back and take some of the strain as you go off into a hopefully glorious retirement, Carol.
Well, let's hope so, and I hope that Tom's going to have a good time, and I'm sure he is, and I'm very pleased that Tom's come back for all of you to join the family, because having some young blood in it, and being a family member, it's so important.
We've all reached an age, Carol, haven't we? Where you do need that fresh outlook. You do need a different set of eyes to sometimes look through, but equally, maybe that experience is still useful on occasions.
Yeah, it's new ideas, and I'm sure Tom's going to bring some of his experience from his previous career here as well. It's all important for progress, isn't it, David?
It certainly is, yeah. And I think, Tom's got some new ideas, like this Christmas event we're doing now, and they're very good. It's refreshed it.
I have to say, and it's actually 22 years, 7 months. I've had a look this morning.
Is it?
Right.
It's the best Christmas event that we've done. The grandchildren yesterday absolutely loved it, and I loved it. So
I suppose they're
well
at a
done.
lovely age, aren't they?
Oh yeah, 4.5 and 2.5 is it's ideal,
And
isn't it?
did they really enjoy it?
Oh,
Did it-
absolutely, Rob. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They loved it, and they loved Santa, and they loved the VR ride, and they loved going in the
Oh,
elevator.
what did you make of that? Did you go on it?
No, I looked after Sophia while
right,
the four of them went on, but they loved it.
So, in terms of the place and the people, you know, what are you going to do to fill your time, Carol? I mean, you've got loads of friends, haven't you? You're going to more time to spend with them, presumably.
I have, and as you know, I do like going to the theatre, and music events. So, I have got a wide network of friends, and so I will keep myself busy. I've, also got my family. I've got 2 sisters who I see regularly.
You take up knitting?
Not take up knitting, no. Do a bit more walking now. My knee's better.
Crocheting?
Not crocheting.
Funnily enough,
no.
we have got a load of wool coming tomorrow.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh well, let's find you some knitters.
You could become a yarn bomber. Will you join the WI?
I've actually said at this stage I'm not committing myself to anything.
Have you been
Rob.
asked?
I've been asked to join a Rotary.
So have they been trying to snap you up as a young whippersnapper?
I don't know about that.
A young retired that all these societies will want to engage within their community.
But I as I said, I don't want I want a sort of rest from commitment. I think.
Yeah.
Just to see. I mean, I might not like it. I might be knocking on the door.
Yeah.
You never know.
You might want to come back and
I
take
might
on
want to
cleaners.
come. Yeah.
Well, I mean, thinking back to some of the job roles you've done, I seem to remember you did dress up as a sheepdog once.
Yeah, I've done a lot.
David is determined to pick out something this year.
Isn't he just? And yes, David, I did. And what did I do it for? The benefit of the business.
You went out there
And
waving at the kids.
And what happened? You're a big dog,
Just
said this little boy.
for the benefit of the viewers, Carol dressed up as Shep the dog. And obviously because Carol's a taller person.
Thank you,
sometimes,
Robert.
Then this little kid says, "You're a big dog."
And of course, it went round the
Yeah.
staff.
But
Yeah.
I couldn't believe you were doing it because all of a sudden I looked round and there was this
A big dog.
tall dog like walking around giving it all the waves and everything. And
So Carol, David got his comeuppance the other night round Penistone on that tractor run.
Oh, I wish I'd
When a
been
cocky
there.
8-year-old kid with a big gold chain on was saying, "Dance for me, pudding." David was dressed in a Christmas
come on,
pudding.
dance.
He was dressed in a Christmas pudding and being commanded to dance by a cocky 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So
were
you
cocky.
now know how it feels.
Oh, I do. I went, dance yourself. And then he kept on going, come on, pudding.
And
So I
that's
had
why
to do
I'm
a
so
little
shy
jig.
and reserved now.
Yeah. That's another little
Shep
job
the
you did
dog.
That's
there.
another little job, yeah. When
Now-
are we going to get onto the shovel in the yard?
Shovel.
Oh, Billy.
But that's Billy's story, isn't it?
No, it was you two that were fighting to get to tell me first
Poor
what
Billy.
had happened.
Carol's only son. My dad used to have this habit of whenever he cleared any dog muck up, he'd never take it away. He'd just leave it on one massive shovel. It was a massive shovel full of dog muck. And then it'd rain on it, and it'd become like a bit like a dog muck stew. If anyone's eaten it, I really apologise.
soup.
And anyway, poor old Billy went running up one day, stood on end at shovel, and it just flicked back and hit him straight in the face.
Also, I can remember is him bent over, spitting on the floor. Poor old lad.
And
Anyway,
you two were running up to tell me in the shop. You
Well, I
were-
was worried
I
for his
didn't.
health.
I didn't take the mick out of him. I was quite. I didn't like laugh. I didn't laugh because he
Poor
looked
Billy.
at me like. Well, he was in distress.
Like you would after you've been hit in the face with a shovel full of dog muck.
But we can laugh about it now.
Oh, we
Everything's been
can.
all right.
We can. Absolutely.
And he does listen to the podcast, Billy, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Sorry, Billy.
Yeah, he does.
So fair play, Bill.
When he's in the
if you're
car-
listening, We deeply regret that offensive shovel
And,
full of dog
and my
muck
dad actually left
hit
it
you
there,
in the
not us.
face.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault. No.
And we've had some good nights out as well, haven't we, Carol?
Oh, we
I
have
wonder
had.
when we get to
Oh, David. Honestly.
No, Carol, if you know, she's a good person to go out with, aren't you, Carol? You like to party hard. You hit the dance floor.
Good strong drinker.
Yeah.
Takes a lot to fella. But there is a point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
But you know what? We're not going to talk about that
No.
because what happens on a night out stays on a night
Yeah.
out.
But you did look after me,
We
David.
did look after
It's
you.
the bus ride home when it
Yeah.
really gets the
More
point.
than once.
Yeah.
It was good though.
Dear. Well,
Katie's got a video of the bus ride home. You know.
Yeah. Could we play that in? Is that something we could do, Henry, if we gave you the video?
She's no longer an employee. We can do what we want.
No, we're not doing Carol, don't worry.
No, it's more Katie singing than anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
Katie is
It
still
was a
employed.
joyous night. And just to put it in context, it was the night that we won the White Rose, which is the Yorkshire Tourist Board, Best Large Visitor Attraction, which is something we'd aspired to win forever and a day. We'd been to many awards evenings where we'd been sat there miserable because we hadn't won. And then this was the time that we actually
Yeah.
managed to bring the cup home, didn't we? So
Yeah.
It was a good night.
Yeah.
it was a good night.
I was only acting.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, I've seen other tables. They're not. I mean, one table in particular. I'm not going to who it was, but as soon as they didn't win the award, they up and left.
Oh, that was,
Yeah, leave it there.
yeah.
Straight out the door. Yeah.
Oh, we weren't like that.
No.
So,
we weren't, no.
what do you think, Carol? What was the high point of your time here? Is there anything that sticks out in your mind, or is it just a? I think they're hopefully good memories, aren't they?
They're all good memories, Rob,
Yeah.
because you've got to make them all good memories. I mean, obviously, we've had some difficult days, haven't we, as well?
Yeah, the
and I
pandemic.
think the pandemic, it was horrendous.
It was.
Really, really a difficult time.
Surprising how that slips by, isn't it? All of a sudden it becomes
And it's
something
not
in
that
your
long
past,
ago,
is it?
really, but it was hard.
That was the most. You can now sit with six. No, you can't sit with six.
Oh.
You can get food delivered to your table, but you can't go and order it. All that interpretation of detail and rules and
It was so challenging, and reading those reports sent out by .gov every day, with things changing all the time.
Because all we ever wanted
it
to
was
do
so difficult.
was follow the rules, run it properly, be there for our customers, and try and keep the business afloat.
And looking after our staff,
Yeah.
because with the shifts that we had with people working together, and
Yeah.
it really was hard. And getting the customers to understand when we were changing from one method of working in the restaurant to another, and it just.
And then
I
when
hope
it
you never
ended-
have to go through it
I do,
again.
Carol. When it ended, then all of a sudden you were trying to find staff.
Yeah.
They were in short supply. People had got used to maybe roles in other industries, and
Yep.
and they just weren't there when you put an advert out. You just couldn't fill the vacancies. We had the demand because people were desperate to come back and enjoy life, weren't they?
Absolutely.
But fulfilling that demand was I think the hardest point we've ever had.
It was, and we couldn't even get students to come and work
No.
because everybody was frightened and still sort of shocked, I think, by it being locked up all that time. But I think as a business we did a wonderful job at trying to do everything we possibly could to make it safe for customers, safe for the staff, and helping our local customers by doing the delivery services where we could leave on a doorstep and have no contact. It just, we really tried our best during those times. But yeah, as I said, I hope that you never have to go through that again.
Yeah. No, there were trying times, but I think you learnt something about yourself and life during those times, didn't you? And appreciating when things are going well, 'cause-
Well, we both had a grandchild born.
yeah.
Nellie and Louis.
Yeah.
Which was again difficult because we couldn't see Louis because we were two,
No.
and they were a family themselves.
So how long before you could actually see him then, Carol?
It were quite a while. And then I do remember the first Christmas that they decided they'd open up Christmas Day. Martin caught COVID, so we couldn't see him on Christmas
that was the
Day.
biggest dread of all, wasn't it? That? Yeah.
Absolutely awful. But
Anyway, we've come.
we
through
got
it,
we
haven't
we got through it, and we actually opened back up. And I mean, the good thing that you were able to do when you look back is getting on building the dog cafe.
Yeah.
Because you got the builders who were able to like carry on, and to be fair, if that had been done when we were open, it would have been quite a lot of disruption to the White Bull service area, wouldn't it?
Well,
really?
we refurbed the toilets, put new floors in.
So
it gave us a bit of a breathing space to do that.
Yeah, it did.
But we only just got them finished for opening.
Yeah.
I think though at the start though, Dave, we weren't confident enough about the future to start spending money on things like that, because we were trying to, any reserves that we had, we were trying to
Save
Yeah.
up, yeah.
hold just in case that, you know, we were running at a loss and we needed them to keep people
Yeah,
going.
because nobody knew, did they? So, but no, you did very well getting all that.
Thankfully we can consign, or hopefully we can consign that particular thing to history, and I suppose we'd have a bit more of an idea what to do if it happened again. But
I think the other thing that sticks in my mind, and you know, nothing happened in the event, was the time the coach driver reversed into the electric pole in the car park.
Well, he didn't reverse it, he drove into it.
Oh, did he?
He drove, he used to drive in a different coach, and the lock wanted the same, and he just spun round and drove smack into the electric pole, and it actually fell onto his roof of the
bus.
coach.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, and then there were some like blocks in the car park, and he climbed up these blocks to look at the top of his coach, and then grabbed the power cable with his hand to steady himself.
Did he?
And I shouted, "Don't grab that!" And he touched it and went, "Oh yeah, sorry," like this. But they turned the power off,
God.
Thankfully. That'd have been the end of him.
You'd have felt such a fool, wouldn't you, if you'd have done that?
Oh,
Driven into the post
Yeah.
and then grabbed the cable.
Yeah.
He wasn't his
I
finest
can remember
moment.
thinking that was a really upsetting day. That.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it cut the pipeworks off. It cut the village off.
yeah, with no
and,
power, had
And
we?
the thing is, he wasn't even visiting us.
Wasn't he?
No, he was just having a drive round for future visits. Yeah.
I hope you're bad, him.
Either that or he'd taken a trip to the museum. I don't know which one it was anyway, but I know he wasn't visiting us.
So that was one.
Yeah.
Do you remember the night that we? I'm guessing this was for Christmas, Rob. It was, because we got mince pies, and we opened up the shop late night, and we opened up the White Bull with a free sausage sandwich and a
Oh, yeah.
mince pie for people to come, and we arranged some singers and
They were a bit like
a bit
that,
of music.
that 1989 prices. Can you remember that as well?
Oh yes, yeah. We didn't realise Doncaster schools run in sets.
Were it 25 years or something like that? It was our 25 years since we opened. So we said we'll go back to charging 50p.
It was the original price that you charged, wasn't it?
People were keeping the kids off school and bringing them, weren't
Yeah.
they?
They had a really cheap day out, and we've never known it as busy. We couldn't cope with demand.
Oh, it was busy, because
We
I
do that
remember
again. We'll
going
just
and
have to do
working in the
tickets
deli.
online.
Yeah. But
Fantastic.
the amount of cars that were coming down that drive that night.
Well, the thing is, I was sprinting up there. I thought the only profit we're making it today is getting some parking money off those cars. so I'm going, someone come and help me. I can't go.
No, because it was skeleton staff, wasn't
Yeah, it
it?
was,
There's
yeah.
nothing worse, is there, when when you've done something and you think this could go wrong, and through either too many people coming or not enough, and
Yeah.
Good idea. It's amazing what cheap prices or a free sausage sandwich can do.
Oh, absolutely.
It brought people in from miles away.
It did, and it was something like a Monday night.
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
it was something random that we did.
well, as the rain starts to fall on the roof, your working time is coming to a close. We can't thank you enough. You've earned this retirement so very, very much. We've loved having you as a friend, as a colleague, and someone to look up to. And we just hope that your retirement is as good as your working life.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Yeah. Thank you.
And Carol, if we get stuck, can we still give you a ring?
Yeah.
Thank you, boys. And as I said on Saturday night, thank you for giving me the opportunity for looking after the business for 22 and a half years.
Well, we've loved every second, and we know we're going to be friends forever.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Cannon Hall Farm podcast.
If you've enjoyed this episode, please follow us on your podcast provider and leave a rating afterwards. Hopefully 5 stars.
If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and drop us a like on this video.
Rob, I've already liked it.
It's not like you to like yourself.
Oh, liking you, Rob.
That's it for this episode. We'll be back next time, but until then, I've been Farmer Rob.
I've been Farmer Dave.
Bye-bye. How'd you liked it?
I just liked it.
You like everything, don't you?
Yeah, it's a good job we didn't talk about them nights out with Carol, though.
Oh,
They were so good.
that's one for the extra scoop.
It is. Extra, extra.